UX and UX consulting, projects, and training. Contact us for a free consultation.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Debbie Levitt from Delta CX. And can you believe it is June 1st, 2020 already? Me? No, cannot believe. So, welcome to episode 45 of the podcast. And today we're going to be looking at collaboration versus design and work by committee versus democratizing, and a couple of other words you'll hear thrown around in this world. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I have some slides prepared for everybody today. For those of you listening on the audio only version on iTunes and Google Play and Spotify, apologies to you, but I promise if there's anything important on a slide, I will describe it. But for the most part, my slides are generally stock photos that represent what I'm talking about and words. So if there's anything you're missing, I promise to describe it. Hello, Andra. Good to see you. So what I'm going to do is get through my slides. Like I said, there's about 17 slides, so maybe it'll take me about a half hour to go through, and then I'm going to check back in the chat room for all of the comments and the questions. So those of you joining live in LinkedIn or YouTube, please leave your questions as you're thinking of them, but be specific. Sometimes I check back a half hour later and someone writes, "This is great," or "I agree," and I'm like, I don't know what you thought was great, and I don't know what you agree with. So if you are going to do the running commentary thing, please be a little more specific so that I can have some shot of knowing what you were talking about. I'm just looking over at my other screen. So I've got my PowerPoint ready to go on the other screen, and I'm going to bring that into my little TV studio system. And then, like I said, I'm going to go through the slides, get through all of the content, and then happily, let's talk about this. Let's make it a conversation. Let's ask questions, and I'll read back through everything. So, that being said, let me just prepare a couple of things. And I am still dealing with spring allergies, so I apologize if I'm coughing a little. I apologize if I'm stopping to take a drink or spray my throat again with this is propolis. So, please excuse me. I'm on like week 9 or 10 of spring allergies. It's never happened in my life. So, that being said, let's dive in. Zoom. Here I am way down here. Oh, let's get rid of my name. You know who I am. Look up the number. Hi, Chris Lenhart. Thanks for joining. So let's sneak into the slides. Here we go. So let's jump in. First, I want to start by talking about my made up word, aspirologies. So, aspirologies is my made up word for trendy methodologies that aspire to greatness but miss the mark or actually hurt our processes, teams, or product. Calling these methodologies gives them too much credibility. Typically, they aim to reduce or reassign specialized CX tasks. Is okay, just checking. Last time my mic wasn't on and I didn't know. Hey, typically, these aim to reduce or reassign specialized CX tasks and work to other roles, or sometimes an entire team working by committee. And that's why we need to burn some of these quickly to the ground. Let's make sure my slides are changing. Yes, great. Democratizing and decentralizing are terms that are gaining traction, whether that's democratizing CX research, UX design, or some other area that has traditionally been our domain. And for those of you just joining, please know that our domain I see as CX and UX. So sometimes I'll say UX, sometimes I'll say CX, sometimes I say both. I'm shifting more and more to CX, but just know I'm talking about the thing you think I'm talking about. So again, on the surface, democratizing and decentralizing are often suggested as a way to make UX and CX work more accessible to everybody. If CX or UX workers were siloed and not making their work accessible to others, this is easily solved through improved processes, communication, and collaboration. As CX or UX practitioners are working on or finalizing research, architecture, design, testing, or another part of our process, we share this with the cross functional teammates. We share it in the spirit of collaboration and to get feedback, not to get everybody's approval or to be given orders of what to do next. Decentralizing typically refers to taking work and or decision-making power away from one person or role and spreading it across multiple people. So let's dig deeper. There's no shortage of new and derivative methodologies related to researching, designing, testing, and iterating on our products and services that all magically reduce, circumvent, minimize, or eliminate qualified CX practitioners. There's even so called CX and UX experts proposing methods that disempower us. CX is typically somewhere still in these methodologies. It's just done by someone other than a CX role. We might say it's done by someone who aspires to or self assesses as doing CX work well, but often lacks talent, training, education, knowledge, or process. Calling these methodologies, again, giving them too much credibility. Aspirologies have the aspirations of greatness, but often contribute to destroying to CX or UX. They often have ego based or emotional goals like non CX people at our company want to design solutions too. Well, I'd like to help with the DevOps CI CD pipeline, but let's be honest, nobody will let me anywhere near that. Teammates wanting to be involved in something doesn't mean they should be involved in something. The word democratizing implies that it's not a democracy now. The implication is that CX are not friendly collaborators. They're evil dictators who must be stopped and their power removed. I hear people say, no, democratizing means we're sharing CX work with others, breaking down silos, and improving collaboration. Well, are you sure that's what it means? Are you sure that's what your teammates expect from you? When democratization is used around CX or UX, it's typically directly meant or implied to mean a desire to change the balance of power so that non CX teammates are more equally involved in CX work and decisions. This hurts our autonomy. Many of us already work in an environment that prefers to exclude, circumvent, overrule, or try to turn us into order takers. We're desperate to get that seat at the table, or at least more respect for our industry. We should not support any effort aimed at reducing our strength or autonomy. Therefore, we must be wary when others request or demand democratizing CX or UX work, decentralizing decisions around CX and UX, or anything that looks like work by committee. Why do we rush to give up our power and let others make decisions in our domain? And then we complain that our workplace has such low CX maturity and we need to do more evangelism about our importance. You're giving teammates mixed messages. And which other roles at our companies are surrendering their power and control? I don't see DevOps trying to give up control of their decisions in the hopes that other people will feel more included in the DevOps. Product management is not a democracy. Product does their own work and makes their own decisions. They collaborate where they want to, and they ask for input where they're open to cross functional team ideas. Engineering keeps tight control over their domain and will be quick to tell you that you lack the knowledge, training, or expertise required to try to make strategic engineering decisions. Quickly, I'm reading some comments. Darren says democratizing equals stripping, and Tom says, hey, Debbie, happy to have caught you live after missing your podcast. Thank you, Tom. So, as I was saying, product, not a democracy. Engineering, not a democracy. They are happy to exclude you in UX from engineering decisions. No other role at our department or company rushes to give up its power, decision making ability, or strength the way that CX and UX does. Aspirologies, democratization, decentralization are things we do to ourselves or allow to be done to us, usually because crappy books, articles, and speakers pushed for it. And it's hurting us. If you're using democratization to mean CX sharing and collaboration, please use the word collaboration. Safe Agile says, quote, any decision that must be escalated to higher levels of authority introduces a delay, Also, escalated decisions can decrease quality due to the lack of local context, plus changes to the facts on which they were based that occurred during the waiting period. Conversely, decentralizing decision making reduces delays, improves product development flow and throughput, and facilitates faster feedback and more innovative solutions. Higher levels of empowerment are an additional tangible benefit. Okay, end quote. Okay, once again, SAFE throws out declarations of safe working so magically for so many reasons, but they never seem to explain how they came to these conclusions. But ignoring that for today, okay, this sounds like decentralizing decision making means we don't want to have to escalate decisions. We want to save time by allowing the team to make their own decisions. Okay. Then SAFE says, of course, this is quote, of course, not all decisions should be democratized. Some decisions are strategic, have far reaching impact, and are outside of the scope, knowledge, or responsibilities of the teams. End quote. Okay, now it sounds like there's a lot of important decisions that we don't want to decentralize. Anything that's strategic, has any sort of impact, or is outside of the knowledge of the teams. It sounds like that is left to strategists, experts, or our leaders. Then, by that thinking, CX decisions should be left to CX, given their strategic nature, their broad impact, and the lack of knowledge others have in our domain. Right, Safe Agile? And then Safe says, quote, decentralized decisions should be made by the workers who have local context and detailed knowledge of the technical complexities of the current situation. End quote. This is often interpreted to mean that everybody on the team must be able to equally make decisions in the CX, UX, and product design domain. Safe Agile often declares that engineers know the technical complexities, so they must be included in all decisions that touch tech. Well, that's everything, isn't it? And isn't it strange that we don't see anybody proclaiming that UX product and marketing should have an equal decision making power over development or QA testing decisions? Oops, I've gotten a mistake here. Hi. Um, I've got a whole chapter coming up about the Lean UX book, though of course it's not coming up. This is what my notes say, but of course, watch the earlier podcast on Lean UX is neither Lean nor UX. I'll try to add a card about that. But quickly here, one slide about Lean UX, and I'll make a note that it's got bad animation. Lean UX. Kids, Lean UX likes to say things like, making sense of UX research can be time consuming and frustrating, so the process is often handed over to specialists who are asked to synthesize research findings. You shouldn't do this. That's right, I said, you shouldn't do this. Instead, work as hard as you can to make sense of the data as a team. Lean UX also says research activities and responsibilities are distributed and shared across the entire team. Now, I'm saying that collaboration does not mean assuming or hoping that everybody on the team has talent, skill, experience, understanding, and good reasoning when it comes to executing a task normally given to a specialist. Lean UX claims its model is collaboration and not design by committee. They call for collaborative discovery, collaborative research, collaborative design, and collaborative testing, leaving you literally zero tasks that you're allowed to just do yourself. Lean UX's over reliance on having cross functional teammates work on every task with UX pros fits the definition of design by committee. Even if they say it's not, you're not fooling us. It is the lean sin of underutilized talent to block any CX or UX practitioner from doing their work themselves or how they want that work done. We're not order takers. We're not workshop facilitators. We're not here to coach other people on doing our jobs. So please be aware that another way that design by committee can sneak into our world is through the Lean UX book, which was adopted as the gospel by Safe Agile, Scrum.org, and other varieties of Agile. Quick water drinking break. Don't fall for bullying. There's always someone trying to push for more design by committee by making it sound like if you don't do that, you're some sort of bad, uncaring person who likes to exclude people. I got this in an email from a development company promoting their upcoming video. Quote, the design of a delightful customer experience doesn't come from a single person, nor does it come from a singular role or job title within a company. How do we drop the rock star designer attitude, drive shared understanding, embrace an inclusive and diverse process, and make it our goal to help everyone become as excellent of a designer as they can be? End quote. Obviously, the setup here is that if you don't help everybody become as excellent of a designer as they can be, you have a rock star attitude, which is evidently bad, even though we all want to be rock stars, and you're against diversity and inclusion. This is completely false, and it's designed to bully CX and UX practitioners who would want to say, yeah, I'm for diversity and inclusion. Okay, then I guess I have to teach everybody my job to prove it to them. Isn't it amazing that we never see videos from engineers who ask, how do we make it a goal to drop engineers' rock star attitudes and spend engineers' time making CX, UX, product, marketing, and everybody as excellent of an engineer as they can be? We never hear that. Why not? Here's another one. This is another form of bullying. Now, again, depending upon how you read this. This person cleared this up later, but at first it sounded bullying. A guy on LinkedIn commented under one of my posts with this. Empathy is essential, but we need to move deeper than simply creating solutions based on empathy and understanding. This is going to take us setting aside our expert status and truly believing in the core concepts of equality, autonomy, committing to shared vision, and co-creation. Only when we achieve the vision of everyone being users and designers with with full equal ownership of ideation, creation, and iteration, will we be able to realize the true power of empathy. End quote. This isn't an elementary school playground. You're not going to convince me to give up my specialty or my expertise, because if I don't, then you've decided I really don't have empathy. Set aside my expert status and have everyone be a designer? Is that how SpaceX took off? Because everybody at SpaceX can design a rocket ship, spacesuit, or calculate trajectories? Does Apple keep building products you love by setting aside experts? No. Disney Imagineers didn't decide that their expertise is meaningless, and let's imagine that everybody in every role at the Disney company is a designer or Imagineer. There's just something special about designing products and services that makes people believe anybody and everybody can do this, and everything in design should be democratized. And I always love how these people envision peace and harmony, where we all agree on what to ideate and design. They never seem to imagine fights, disagreements, or opposite ideas. And then who has the power to make the final decision and overrule some of the bad ideas? Uh-oh, is that still a democracy? Did we still realize the true power of empathy? Please. Meanwhile, wrong button. Meanwhile, where's the empathy for experts? Everything we use and rely on in our world was created by experts. Cars, medical equipment, medical professionals, elevators, structural engineers trying to make sure buildings don't randomly fall, people who warn us about coming storms. Okay, not everything is perfect, but you trust things because you believe in the expertise behind them. Nobody wants to hear that their medical diagnosis was equally decided by a group of people who are sure they think like doctors. And you can tell when something wasn't created by an expert. As a user or customer, you just know. So let's stop pretending that everything is better when everybody tries to do our jobs. I like to call this stock photo, I can't believe UX called me into another meeting to help them plan or design. Don't they know I have my own work to do? Holding a week-long design sprint, various design thinking exercises, and mountains of lean UX everything by committee meetings takes your coworkers away from their other work, sometimes for days. The Lean UX book admits that in the name of being collaborative, every task a CX worker could do is done with one or more teammates. From whiteboarding to testing to interpreting research, the Lean UX book demands that all CX tasks include meetings where everybody shares their observations, assumptions, ideas, sketches, etc. Who has time for all these meetings? We are hurting our teammates' abilities to get their work done when CX or UX requires a steady diet of do it by committee meetings. There is nothing lean about frequent meetings and the mountain of documentation these meetings can produce. Product managers, developers, and others invited to these team events will have noticeably less time to devote to their own tasks. How do all of these frequent team meetings and exercises affect engineering's velocity, productivity, and efficiency? Engineering is under so much time pressure, I can't imagine they love going to all of these meetings. Remember that one hallmark of an aspirology is the bottomless pit of meetings and exercises. We do not need these to do great work, improve team culture, or find innovations or disruptions. I've got an extra bonus for you. Whether you're considering endless lean UX group exercises or team workshops from other aspirologies, consider first if you really need to take teammates away from their work to help you with yours, or if you can do your own work yourself and collaborate with them later in other ways. This slide was also in the Lean UX podcast, so this will be a repeat for some of you, but let's talk once more about the definitions of codependency in the workplace and see how design by committee, Lean UX, and other aspirologies fit. So, number one, an individual may be over-involved with their peers to help get their work done. Yeah, that's a match. If we follow the Lean UX model, we constantly need our peers' over-involvement to get our work done. Sign number two that you've got workplace codependency is feeling responsible for solving others' problems to prevent them from falling under the bus. Our teammates might feel like they have to attend all of our meetings and help us out of fear of what our work product is like without their involvement. Number three, expecting others to do what the codependent suggests, otherwise becoming irritated and resentful. We facilitate and run every meeting. We have lists, worksheets, programs, frameworks, canvases, and steps. Are teammates concerned that we will be resentful or irritated if they try to break out of these prescribed exercises? Number four, using extreme energy to solve others' problems without even receiving approval or recognition. How do we reward teammates for all of their hours doing our jobs with us? Do they get any approval or recognition? Perhaps Lean UX sees this as just part of everybody's jobs. And finally, the final sign of workplace codependency is works harder on others' tasks and problems, leaving little time for their own needs. I have concerns about how little time coworkers will have left to do their own work if they are researching, interpreting research, sketching, iterating, testing, and interpreting testing, and not to mention all the other meetings where we're going to talk about guesses or hypotheses. There's so much stuff we're making everybody do with us. When will product engineering and others have time for their own needs? So there you go, another look at workplace codependency. Sometimes people will tell me, but Deb, I love these co-design workshops as a kickoff meeting with my client or my stakeholder. Hey, I've been running my own agency for 25 years now, and I know you guys sometimes love to do this. People tell me it's a great way to start a project with some team building, bonding with your client, and getting that project started with lots of ideas collected from everybody. I love ideation workshops, which have zero sketching and no co-designing. I like to collect ideas and brainstorm, but I don't typically do these first.
These are often somewhere in the middle of my projects. And I've always had the opinion that when you co-design with your client and a stakeholder, you accidentally teach them that they don't totally need you. They might walk away thinking, hey, we could have held one of those sessions ourselves and probably cheaper. I always wondered if these clients who hired us for our great work and ideas imagined that we couldn't do our jobs without first getting ideas from the clients. Hey, Sebastian's here and he says research first. So many things to do in pre-discovery and discovery. Why are we ideating first? Wrong. Now, since many of us don't work at agencies, let's go back to thinking about our regular company jobs. Of course, the Lean UX book constantly talks about team building as one of the reasons why UX is not allowed to do any tasks themselves or alone. The authors appear to believe that if you conduct a few tasks without the entire team, you have hurt team building. Work by committee, democratization, and team workshops are sold as great ways to do team building. Well, put on your critical thinking hats as I ask you these two questions. Question 1. If team building is best done by group exercises and workshops, where are all of the group exercises and workshops being run by marketing, product management, project management, scrum masters, developers, QA testers, DevOps? They all have work we could sketch and brainstorm. Yet how many of those workshops or exercises are done at your company? Probably zero. That means that the excuse of team building is a lie, since if this is how we build teams, we would do it in all areas and all domains at our company, not just CX and UX. Question 2, though I'm not sure it's a question. I researched how to build teams online. It was online. It was how to build teams. And I found mountains of articles, including those published by the New York Times, Forbes, Harvard Business Review, and Entrepreneur.com. Zero of these articles said to hold exercises and workshops where everybody does one role's job. Not even close. Most of the team building advice included get to know each other, understand what each role does, value and respect those roles. Remember it, I'm going to come back to that one. Lay groundwork for work styles and deadlines. Improve communication. Set measurable team goals. Celebrate successes with awards and recognition. And talk about failures and where things could improve. That was team building. So if you understand what the CX or UX roles do, and you value and respect CX and UX as part of that team building, you will stop holding team design exercises and workshops. This means no design sprints, no co-designing working sessions, no group design thinking craft exercises where we glue macaroni to a plate. How will you get ideas from other people? Ask them. Or hold an ideation workshop where people share ideas without having to draw exact executions of ideas. People are purposefully blurring the lines between what is collaboration and what is work by committee or democratization. The Lean UX book completely strips our power, autonomy, and specialization, but claims their model is not designed by committee, when it completely is. So how can we tell? Here's an easy test to see if you are drowning in design by committee, democratization, or aspirologies, or if you're engaging in awesome collaboration with teammates. And guys, remember, when the little camera on the bottom comes up, the slide has finished animating. You might want to screenshot this one. If you're watching. Listeners on the audio podcast, you might want to write this down. So whether it's research by committee, design by committee, or some other work by committee, the distinctions between these and collaboration centers around two key questions. I'm going to put these up on the screen for those looking. Question 1, who is doing the tasks you were hired to do? If the answer is only I am doing my job, then it's probably collaboration. If the answer is non-CX roles are doing CX work or tasks that are my job, then it's probably work by committee. So, for example, it's great to show our work as we go to cross functional teammates, not for their approval, but for collaboration and feedback. Like, hey, product manager, here's my work so far. Does it match the requirements? Did I miss a user story? That's collaboration because you're doing your CX job and the product manager is doing their job in looking at your work through the product management lens. Here's another example. When you show engineering your work in progress, say your wireframes or your prototype, you're checking that the concept is something they can build given their time and resources. Part of the collaboration is for you to get feedback on anything that could become a potential engineering issue so that you can architect and design around potential problems before they happen. You're doing your job. Engineering is doing their job by looking at your work through their lens. This is collaboration without work by committee, and it makes our artifacts and concepts accessible and available to others. You can collaborate, collect ideas, receive feedback, and share insights and discoveries and your work. Now, here's question 2. Who has decision making power over your CX or UX domain? If others on the cross functional team have mostly or completely equal say in the product design, CX, or UX work, it is work by committee. If you had the whole cross functional team vote on ideas during a group sketching exercise, and that's the decision everybody's running with, that was a CX decision by committee. I recommend against it. Watch out for anything you're doing and terms that you're using that teach others that CX or UX is a democracy where every opinion is equal to our unique expertise and we'll all make decisions together. Our work can be accessible to all, but that doesn't mean everybody does our jobs or makes decisions in our domain. In which other domains at your company are you making decisions? Are you making decisions in product? Marketing? Engineering? I didn't think so. Quick drink of water and a reminder that I am live. If you have comments or questions, please put them in YouTube or LinkedIn. And please also subscribe on YouTube. I'd love that. Thank you very much. Some people say to me, "Oh, Debbie, democratizing can't be all that bad. A UX research software company I like wrote some great articles about the benefits of it. They made it sound like it was important to share our research insights with everybody." Thing 1, you should absolutely share research insights with everybody. Don't be siloed. Make sure everybody gets research reports, including videos, quotes, nuggets, and insights. Yes to that. But that's not democratization. That's collaboration. Remember our new test for figuring out when it's not collaboration? Hey, you're doing your work, everyone else is doing their work. Great, that's collaboration. Thing 2, of course that company's article made democratizing sound good. That software company makes more money when things are democratized. That's why they wrote the article. If they can convince you to include more people in UX research or whatever their tool does, they sell more seats or licenses or usage. They want to see democratization, not because it's better for our profession, because it's clearly not, but because they will sell more subscriptions. Period. As we say, they have a horse in the race, and you can tell that they are riding this horse as fast as they can when their article says that your company has more need for UX research than it has researchers on staff, so you should train other people at your company to do UX research. Remember when you told me, no, democratizing is about sharing our work and making more reports available to everybody? Well, did you snap out of that when you saw this company suggesting that various roles at our company should be trained to do what we spent years learning to do well? You know this article and possibly this company are garbage when they're willing to sell out our specialty by acting like anybody can go train a product manager or marketing manager to do UX research. This company could have written an article about the dangers of democratizing research, how often research is done poorly by the wrong people, and the importance of hiring qualified or specialist CX and UX researchers to make sure important research is getting done correctly and with depth and quality. So when they instead write about trying to quickly train our coworkers to be researchers, this company is hurting our industry. They would rather see you have unqualified people do mission critical research so they can sell more licenses than to see your company hire more qualified researchers and let those other roles stick to their jobs. And I've had lots of people ask me questions about what they should do. Wasn't most of the February 26th Ask Me Anything devoted to this, 2020? People tell me they're a UX researcher at a company, and instead of hiring more researchers, the boss wants them to give an hour of training to other roles at the company. I saw this when I worked at Macy's. When the UX vice president called for product managers to get 1 hour of training so they could run their own UX testing, every specialized researcher and the research manager started interviewing and quitting. Now you have 0 qualified specialist researchers. This is a real problem. Articles that promote these types of aspirologies hurt CX and UX. Please speak to these companies when they write these articles and blog posts and tell them what garbage this is and how they're hurting your profession. We tend to have a pretty clear definition that separates collaboration and design by committee when we work for ourselves or in agencies. It's reflected in viral photos and memes like what's on the screen. And of course, you guys can't see what's on the screen if you're listening to the audio version. I've got the "A camel is a horse designed by committee" meme, and I also have the meme where it's a long price list. We design everything, 500 euros. We design you watch, 800 euros. We design you advise, 1,000 euros. We design you help, 1,500 euros. You design we help, 2,000 euros. You design we advise, 3,500 euros. You design we watch, 5,000 euros. And you design everything, 8,000 euros. Memes about, we've got all these memes about how projects take longer, have more fights, and blur the lines of who's in control of the project. We've got memes about how design by committee often results in poor products based on the only places we could agree, or all the random junk that got thrown in at everybody's whims. The sign on the screen shows how the price gets higher the more the client wants to be involved in the design project. Agencies and freelancers know that the more cooks you put in the kitchen, the longer the project can get drawn out, the more work it might be, and a higher potential for going in directions that don't deliver value to customers. When we aren't in a company setting, we know we don't want this. Somehow some of us land corporate or government jobs, and then we welcome or even suggest co-design sessions where everybody does our job with us. We want to hold team workshops and exercises where everybody sketches the product. Somehow, the siren song of wonderful team building through design workshops and democratization has cast many a workplace under its spell. Is this what we really want, or are we trying to make others happy by giving up our specialty and autonomy? You sometimes see the suggestion that CX democratize our research, design, and testing work, not only to add more teammates to the work done by committee, but to also include a stakeholder. Someone imagines that a stakeholder has the time to attend a lot of team meetings, sketch solutions, plan research, etc. Even if the stakeholder had time and interest for this, why would we include that person at such a high level of involvement? The advice typically given in support of this suggestion is that a stakeholder is less likely to reject a solution that they felt involved in creating, and they will defend that solution more than they would if they hadn't been directly involved. Presumably, we would not only have to involve the stakeholder, but involve them in sketching solutions, but we'd have to pick their solution to get the level of buy-in this advice dreams of. This comes off as rather desperate. I like to call this stock photo, "I can't believe we agreed to use the stakeholders' bad idea." It's a huge sign of CX immaturity if stakeholders don't trust us to do our jobs and won't support what CX designs or decides. It's a huge red flag if, out of desperation to have our work approved, we'll co-design it with stakeholders. A more mature organization hires low ego action heroes who are grounded in proper research, plays to workers' strengths, and trusts them to do their jobs fantastically. You might imagine we'll test it and we'll iterate it if the stakeholder's concept isn't strong. But if the concept changes significantly, the stakeholder might not recognize it as something they created or co-created. Your plan to win stakeholder backing by having them support a solution they created falls apart. Remember that every decision we make teaches others how CX should be done. Having stakeholders designing or co-designing our products and services so that we can get buy-in is a concept that undoes itself, especially when the stakeholders' ideas are bad, but you selected them anyway to get the stakeholder support. Your customers deserve way better. But we can't burn stakeholders at the stake. That's not why they're called stakeholders. We must find the correct balance of catering to business strategies and goals with what research and good data tell us about customer needs and tasks. But in the Delta CX world, we choose the best product, services, and experiences for customers' needs and tasks over choosing the desperation to get stakeholder backing. And in my final slide, true collaboration is like a sports team. A baseball team has to be a collaborative unit moving together towards a common goal. They practice together, they play together, they strategize together, and they're often accountable together for wins and losses. But the team out on the field has one pitcher, one catcher, and one player in each position. You need a great pitcher, but a team full of pitchers probably wouldn't win games. If a pitcher can't pitch, you don't throw the second baseman in as the pitcher. You have a bunch of pitchers in the bullpen ready to go out and pitch. Same for our cross-functional teams. We must align our goals, collaborate on initiatives that support those goals, and all be accountable for the final products and outcomes. But the team is not improved if we're all coding, all trying to manage the project, or all trying to interpret observational studies. Baseball teams and other sports teams work because each person sticks to their role with minimal or no overlap. And with that, my slides are done. We'll focus back on me. Hi! And now let's take a look at what was in some of the chats while I was talking, since some of them I read while I was going and some I didn't. So let's roll back in time and see what some people said. Darren said, "This is one of the reasons many companies seek to hire less senior UXers so they can push the team around." Fantastic points, Debbie. Yeah, that is unfortunate. It is always easier to hire an order taker. It's always easy. Oh, hi, Shay. It's always easier to hire Shay, right? I'm looking at faces and I'm trying to remember everybody's names. Shay, yeah. Yeah, so as I was saying, yeah, it's always easier to hire order takers. It's always easier to hire non-critical thinkers, and it's always easier to hire juniors who may be critical thinkers and don't want to be order takers, but end up bullying them because they're so new they don't know how to fight battles or how to pick battles. Tom said, "I stumbled across an internal Kanban board that stated it was to collaborate with everyone, inviting all of the wider team with the wording, quote, 'If you're worried about having no experience, don't. This is a fantastic opportunity to learn a new skill.'" great point, Tom. I actually cover this in my book. Delta CX is the name of my book. And I say that it's very strange that some people think that these design by committee workshops are some sort of time for us to teach people new skills, which really doesn't make sense. I mean, no offense to people in other departments, but we have mission critical work, and I don't have time to run a workshop to help them try to be better at my job. Please just let me do my job. By the way, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you. Quick note. Tom says, is it wrong to be frustrated by this as I was, or should it be encouraged to teach others in the way of UX to gain further buy-in? Tom, I am very much against teaching people to do our jobs to get buy-in. And again, it's something that only we do. That's how you know it's wrong. Engineering doesn't do it. Product doesn't do it. Marketing doesn't do it. If you want to do a lunch and learn or some sort of thing about what is UX and what do we bring to projects and why are we specialized and how do we fit into Agile, like the talks I go out and do, that can be great. But it doesn't make sense to try to teach other people our jobs. Nobody's teaching us their jobs. Scott R., good to see you, says, and don't those cross-functional teams have enough work of their own than to be involved in every UX task? That's what I keep saying. That was one of my main points in the Lean UX podcast, and a reminder here that we accidentally come off as completely codependent and incapable. Tom says, yes, it's not as if I would ever expect to learn a new skill and think I'm being helpful by contributing to the dev team's work with my limited understanding. And remember, the dev team isn't even calling a group workshop to begin with. So there isn't even a group workshop in these other domains for you to even learn a new skill. So I disagree completely, 100%, with this whole run a workshop and sell it as some way for people to now learn to do UX or learn to be design thinkers. You guys know what I think of that. Scott R. says appeasing untrained stakeholders is almost a guarantee towards a horrible product. They hired you for a reason. They need to let you do your job. Amen. Scott also says appeasing their every whim, that is. Obviously, you want to get them results, but if they're micromanaging you, well, good luck. Let's see, I've got a question here that came up without a name on it, so I'm going to try to refresh my LinkedIn page and see who it is from. It's Shay. He says hi. Okay, hi Shay. Back to Ashita's here. And how about the design by others, like product manager, developers, and then they asked for agreement because we don't have time to do something better. Yeah, I'm completely against that. You know, there's a lot of slides I'm working on right now. I'm doing a talk on Wednesday for an Athens, Greece meetup, and the topic is done is better than perfect. And I have a lot to say about that because I believe that done is bull and is an extremely low standard. And perfect is something we should aim for, knowing we probably won't achieve it. So tired of other people trying to do UX work claiming we don't have time. These are companies that do not care about product quality. These are companies who do not care about outcomes. They care about outputs. And that's why I am trying to push companies to reprioritize quality over speed. Let's see, we've got another comment here and it came up without a name. It's Shay. I don't know why your name's not coming up on my secret sneaky chat system today. Shay says, the very nature of our rules mean we simplify things so much it appears obvious. It makes others think all they need to do is read a couple of blog posts, say double diamond a few times, and they're an expert. So true, Shay. I mean, we've had some private messages, so I know we agree. Ashita says, thumbs up. I hope I pronounced your name somewhat close, but you tell me. Sebastian is back, Dr. Sebastian, if you will. And he says, it seems to me that this topic is impacted by what we find all the way back to the roots, at least from a company's perspective, the CEO's vision impacting the culture of the company. Yeah, you know, I didn't go into that here, but there is obvious and definite cultural problems. Anytime we belittle someone else's job, there's going to be cultural problems. Anytime we treat a role like your job is so easy, anybody can do it. You know, people love to say that to secretaries and people who work in the mail room and the person who cleans things. They always say stuff like that to people who they think, oh, your job is so easy. I would love to see those people clean for a week, answer phones for a week, work in the mailroom for a week. None of these things are easy. Every single job on the planet, even the ones that people tend to belittle and tend to act like anybody can do your job. I couldn't flip burgers. People think, oh, flip burgers, that's so easy. There's nothing easy about that. Are you kidding? I couldn't do it. And I love burgers. I eat them almost every day. But I would be a terrible burger worker. Someone is better at that than I am, and I want them to do it. So, so Sebastian's right. We have to go back to what the CEO and the executives lay out as company values, as a company strategy, as company culture. And if they haven't laid that out, they need to. And it can't just be waving the flag, though I only have a fly swatter here. I have no flag. But waving the flag of we're diverse or we're inclusive, yes, that's part of your strategy. Sure, that could be part of your values. But you need to say a lot more about what your company is about and who you hire and why. And that's what values and culture all come down to. More on that in my book, of course. Man, my throat's killing me. Tom says, what's your thoughts on product managers deciding on features and problems to solve based on absolutely no research, simply because the developers need something to do this sprint? Facepalm. Tom, you must know that your question answers itself. Obviously, if the developers need something to do this sprint, that typically speaks to poor planning. So typically, if there is some sort of empty sprint, or there's some sort of time block coming up, or there's nothing in the backlog, I can't imagine there's nothing in the backlog that developers could work on. So often, developers have tucked away into the backlog or the icebox all of the problems we wish they would fix. So there's always something for developers to do. I tend to believe that the developers need something to do is a lie. I would say spend a sprint improving the performance of the site. Make the site 1 second faster. Make the site faster. Make it more reliable. Make it more scalable. Get your DevOps cooking. These are all things that we could be working on. There should never be a lull in engineering. There's always something engineering can improve with respect to databases, architecture, performance, DevOps. What else am I thinking? I mean, code refactoring could take a while, but you might need some sprints for that. But yeah, these are all fake excuses. And everybody, you know, you're always welcome to take my videos and show them to your coworkers, show them to your managers, show them to everybody on the planet, and say, hey, I asked the question, this is what she said, and, you know, throw me under the bus. Is my shirt is yellow, but I'm accidentally see-through today. This shirt is yellow, it is not green, but I'm somehow green screening myself. Sorry, won't wear it again. It's getting harder to pick out clothes for my green screen. I'm gonna have to wear a lot more gray and black, and then you'll all think I'm goth, which I secretly am. Okay, Scott R says, unskilled jobs. It's the most frustrating phrase uttered by people who've never worked a hard job in their life. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't think of anything that doesn't take skill. I can't think of anything that I mean, maybe not everything takes a college degree, but you have to be qualified for whatever job you're going to do. And there's a zillion billion jobs I'm not qualified for. So, I mean, this is where humility comes in. Where's your humility? Maybe I'm losing so much weight I'm just transparent? Yes? No? Okay. Dr. Sebastian is back, and he says, I wish we could see comments from YouTube on LinkedIn too. I feel like I'm missing a lot of interesting comments. Yeah, I've got a system that combines both of them into one window. I show that window on my office hours Ask Me Anything, but it's cool. I don't know if I can send you this link so you can see the same window, but I'll work on that. But anyway, better to subscribe on YouTube. It's a much faster feed. And hey, subscribe just because I'm asking nicely. And I'm see-through. I have full transparency on this issue. green screen joke. That was pretty good. Eshita, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but someone fantastic is saying most resonating thing to PM is ROI. How to do that? No idea without research. Yeah, you're totally right. A lot of times people are only concerned with ROI, but what they forget is you only get ROI when you make customers happy. If you don't make customers happy, you won't get that ROI. You won't get the new customers signing up. You won't get the old customers staying. You won't get the old customers buying more of whatever it is. And so those short-term grabs for ROI usually end up costing our company in other time and money, and ultimately they can be mistakes. And so I've got lots of podcasts where I talk about we need to start calculating this much more closely, because we need to be able to show product managers, project managers, executives, other people, that when we rushed something out, especially without UX or CX process, look at the money we burned later to have customer support deal with it, to have social media managers deal with it, to have product, project, UX, engineering, figure out what went wrong, fix it, rebuild it, get it out, to have marketing try to make everybody happy again. These are absolutely calculatable numbers. These are knowable numbers, but pretty much every company ignores them. And I think it's really important for people to start not just looking for the fast grab of the ROI, but the longer arc of the true costs of things, the true benefits of things, including ROI, and the true costs of poor quality. Thank you for that. So let's see. Wow, our hour's almost up. Oh, I usually try to keep these no more than an hour. I've got 5 more minutes with you guys. Give me your last comments and questions. I'm going to flip over to my calendar, and I'm going to give you a couple of notes about some podcasts and things that are coming up. Please note, all things will now be at 6:30 p.m. Italy time. Adjust for your time zone, unless I let you know that something's at a different time. So all of the Tuesday office hours are going to shift 15 minutes later to now start at 6:30 p.m. Italy time. Please adjust for your time zone. Wednesday the 3rd, I would normally do a podcast at 6:30 Italy time, but I'll be speaking at that Athens, Greece meetup. So we're going to shift our podcast a little bit later to 9 p.m. Italy time. That would be noon in California. And we've got the fantastic Tatawan Suto joining us, and she's going to talk about what is learning design and instructional design. We'll talk about how they're similar to UX and different from UX, and what you would have to learn if you ever thought of shifting careers. For next week, I've got a couple of things shifted around, since I've got 3 talks that I'm doing, which is awesome. I'm very excited about them. So Monday will be office hours. Monday, June 8th will be office hours. Ask me anything. Tuesday, I'll be speaking at Tech Circus's Design Thinking event. So you might want to Google for that. UX Crunch at Home. It's called Design Thinking. I will be against design thinking. Other people will be for it. We're going to get to present and then do a panel discussion. So the event is not free, but I don't get any of the money. So please sign up for it, and please support Tech Circus and their UX Crunch events. So there will be nothing from me on Tuesday, as I'll be doing Tech Circus. Wednesday, I'm so excited that we're going to have Dr. Nick Fine finally as our guest on the podcast. And our topic is UX a mindset? Is UX a state of mind? 6:30 Italy time. And then after that, I'm going to be speaking at the Agile and DevOps West conference at 9:30 p.m. Italy time. You, of course, have to be registered for the Agile and DevOps West conference, but I will be doing the 1-hour version of Dev and UX. You can learn more about that talk on the deltacx.com website. Friday, June 12th, mark your calendars. I am going to be doing the UXPA webinar. I am the webinar of the week or month or whatever it is. And I'm going to be doing my famous Stop Evangelizing UX and What to Do Instead, 1-hour version, and then take questions and answers. More of June, quickly. Monday the 15th, I've got very excited to have special guest Joel Barr on to talk about job interview challenges. You know, when they want you to whiteboard stuff or take home homework. Tuesday, office hours. Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a podcast on UX titles. And what the heck do they mean? What's going right and wrong in titles? And what could be the future of UX titles? And I've planned as far as Monday, June 22. Monday, June 22, I am so excited to finally have as a guest Stephanie Walter, who I'm sure I'm not pronouncing correctly since she speaks French, but she will be joining me to laugh and talk about surveys and why most surveys stink, and possibly what we could do better. So let's see, back to the chat. I know we're just about out of time. Dr. Sebastian here. Yeah. Fraser Pete, hello, says, that was very good indeed. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, we've got more things here. UX debt is real. It is real. And they keep putting us in situations to continually create it and rarely fix it. Denise is here. Always good to see Denise. Always hoping your job is going okay. Denise says, we have weekly discussion meetings with the design team on the prototypes we did. We discuss our assumptions and leave the final decisions to the stakeholders. Boo! So we leave almost always without a final decision made, even for a simple step. I am frustrated. I don't like to give stakeholders that power. And Denise, if you're just arriving now, please watch this whole thing once it processes on YouTube. This whole thing was about how we have to stop giving up our power, including to stakeholders. So I know you might not be in the best situation, but it's something we have to shift away from. And you can always say to your company, you know, I know in the past we did this and this and this, but there's other ways to do this, and let's try it another way. And it's hard because nobody wants that power taken away from them, but we have to find some way to try to shift that. Sebuneb, I hope I'm pronouncing your name okay, says, that was a great session. Thanks for your efforts and for educating us. Well, thanks. My goal is always to educate and give some opinions and ideas that hopefully are helpful and actionable. And I'm pronouncing Eshita's name correctly. I'm so nervous. And Dr. Sebastian. Yes, I'm going to call you Dr. Sebastian here. Oh, good. Dr. Sebastian, you're Sebuneb? Come on, Dr. Sebastian. Don't mess with me. You're writing to me on LinkedIn and YouTube with two different names. Remember last time we had that guy who called himself Steel? He had like some gaming YouTube name. Anyway, guys, I think we're out of time. Please remember, subscribe on YouTube, wherever it just popped up. It's not, at least as of when I'm recording this, it's not monetized. I just want to have more subscribers because I want to reach more people with my education. Please do share out the podcasts. They're all archived on YouTube, so you're welcome to watch them all. They're totally free. And if you prefer audio only, those are available. I make my podcasts available usually the next day on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. So look for the Delta CX podcast and subscribe there as well. So hopefully I will catch everybody tomorrow for office hours. Remember, if you have a question, let's put this up quickly. If you have a question, you can also use the anonymous URL because I will be answering these questions tomorrow. And also tomorrow we will be talking very briefly about empathy is not an emotional contagion, because that popped up in the last week and we need to talk about it. So on that note, I guess I will sing us out of here and catch you guys very soon. Thanks again for all of the great interactivity, and see you all very soon. Stay healthy and well, and wear a mask.
Thanks for watching. Delta CX is available for consulting and projects related to CX and UX strategy, leadership, training, problem finding, problem solving, and innovation. Learn more at deltacx.com.